nice weather, good food, home Grand Prix for us as well, which I think is always very nice. And yeah, the performance side of things, the sprint weekend always a bit more difficult, a bit more tricky, I think, for everyone to get everything right. But that's fine. It's a different challenge, and we'll try to do the best we can.
You can think of it both ways, to be honest with you. I think there's been a great amount of points. I think as a team, we performed extremely well. But when you're a competitor and you're here to win and only here to win, and when you know what was possible and what wasn't, then yeah, I mean, I'm always going to think of what the highest possibility was, and that was to potentially win races. But that's potentially.
Well, I guess the gap that there was from us to pole position, which was 2 or 3 tenths in Barcelona. However, I feel like the potential is in the car. We just need to optimize our package, and then we'll be back to where we want. We didn't do that in Montreal, especially with tires, and the conditions were a bit outside of our operating window. And then in Barcelona, we were just not fast enough. So, but again, the preparation on the simulator for this track went well, so I felt confident we'll be back in the fight.
From all of our numbers, the new package worked, so it just shows that whatever we brought to the car over the last couple of years and the new car that we brought this year is still not perfectly suited for these long combined corners that I've always been relatively vocal about. I think you remember China and Suzuka. I told you before those tracks, I don't think this is going to be a great track for the Ferrari, and it's still the case.
I think we're talking about very small margins here. I think if we're able to find a couple of tenths, it will transform our life. We saw it with Piastri, for example, last weekend. They had the best car in Barcelona, and for some reason he didn't maximize the package, and it's a massive setback. I think the margins are so small that it's going to happen to other drivers. So it's just important. In my opinion, I've been long enough in this business, and I know that it will only matter where I finish in Abu Dhabi. So head down, and looking forward to sort out all my issues.
Maybe some of the setup decisions we made were not the right ones in the end. A little bit of driving involved in that, but I think what we thought were small differences led to quite big consequences. So I think we've got some very clear answers on what went wrong last weekend. So I think that's always the encouraging thing.
We feel like the last 3 races have been really positive for us. Coming here, obviously, very different circuit. Once again, I think Ferrari will probably be pretty competitive. They've been very good here the last couple of years, but just, we feel really excited to be back in this mix. We know, I think, McLaren and Red Bull are still a little bit ahead of us. But it swings quick, as we saw in Montreal that we were probably the most competitive. So let's see what this weekend brings.
Yeah, has it been 18 years? 18 seasons? Jeez. Yeah.
10 to go.
I just, I never thought that I'd be racing this. I never ever thought when I started Formula 1, I never thought about 18 years in. So, but I still feel great, and it was really a positive weekend to get back on the podium, to see the progress we're making as a team. Just really, it's always a good feeling when you see the hard work from everyone paying off.
Obviously, teams dig into that problem very hard, and we still see what we wanted to see on the data after the race. But just somehow it's not performing well. We saw a couple of things that might cause it, but there's no still clear answer. So that's a bit mystery for us, and obviously a couple of things that we could done better as a setup side, whatever. But still doesn't explain why we lost as much as that compared to previous races.
Yeah, excited. Thank you. It's something that I'm motivated, excited about, looking forward to. The future in this team is really exciting. So it's been all about racing the last few months, and kind of in the back of my mind, thinking about future plans, but recently been thinking more and more about future plans, and now I'm happy to say that I'll be here next year.
Yeah, when I said 250th and that, it's just, I don't know, it's kind of like a whoa. It's yeah, I'm obviously proud of it, but yeah, definitely you kind of get hit with a flood of nostalgia, and I remember first year, and I remember go-karting, and all of it. So yeah, I've done something. I mean, personally, I've done something cool for the helmet this weekend, to kind of bring back some of that nostalgia. So yeah, it's cool.
Feeling is good, positive, upbeat. We were obviously in the middle of a triple header, and no, Barcelona was good, promising. Coming here, I feel good. Also, obviously the memories from last year are still there, but you know, this year is new year. The cards are reshuffled, so we have to do the job and the work again. We are prepared as much as we can be, and now we need to see how the car performs here and how competitive we will be.
Yeah, I'm buzzing. I'm very happy, very excited for the future. It's a great news. It's been long talks and conversations and trying to figure out what's the best for my future. And yeah, started quite early. As soon as Lewis kind of triggered the entire market back in January. Until now, so yeah, it's important to feel you're making the right decision for your future, and putting everything. I mean, my heart always wanted to stay with Alpine, because from the moment I signed with them, I've signed to achieve a lot more than what we've done so far, and feels like there is a lot to do together.
I think it's been very positive, that we were able to progress that much, very much on an upward trajectory, but. It's a very special track, Barcelona, with unique characteristic. I mean, here it's, there's some things that look similar. So we will see, if we can perform as good as there. But it's not a guaranteed yet. And, we're going to need to extract the maximum out of the car as every single time. And hopefully we can do it here as well.
Yeah, it's always a bit interesting the weather around here. Sunday, I think, could still be wet by the looks of it. But I think tomorrow and Saturday will be pretty dry. This track, what makes it unique, short lap, not many corners, so you've got to get all of them right. Generally, a 10th is 3 or 4 places, so it does add up. So just got to do the best job you can, minimize mistakes. The car will never feel good tomorrow for sprint quali, but you just got to get on with it and do the best job you can.
We have a pretty positive mindset coming into every race this year. I think consistency has been a lot better. At least in terms of performance in the car. I think we have been a bit up and down in how we've exploited the potential in the car, but at least, I think what we have to work with has been pretty consistent, and I don't have any reason to believe we don't have a chance here.
For me, of course, we have to understand the certain stand with the different layout on the tracks, Imola, Monaco, Montreux, super bumpy. I don't think it's strength with this year's car, but mainly on my side, I was very lost before Spain, just because I wasn't able to push the car around. In the weekend I had in Canada, everything I do, every movement, I just really felt has a much bigger impact on the balance and also on the driving side. So we decided to change everything back to the old one, and yeah, seems to be picking up the performance we should be, or having the the grip, the confidence that I have with this car. So yeah, really happy to see the progress went into the right direction, and then yeah, looking forward, of course, to these tracks. I think could be suitable a little bit better for this year's car.
Feeling good. It's always a nice place to come to. Beautiful nature around. Birds are singing until the race cars go on track. But yeah, I've had some decent races here, so. And I believe the weather should get better as well, so we should be okay. Made a step, we made some progress, and it's so tight, the field, that any small progress actually you can see the results immediately, and it's good to see. So hopefully that's a positive turn for our season now, that we can continue getting closer to top 10 and eventually into the top 10.
Not much time to figure things out, not much time to experiment, try to figure out what's going on my side, in terms of bringing the package back to where it should be. So we've changed some bits. We're going to do our best to figure it out. But yeah, I don't expect everything's going to turn around. But I think this track as a whole should suit us much better than Barcelona.